Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchbox. I'm Tashan Gray.
And I'm Kieran Goldberg. On today's show, we'll be talking about the Coventry Peace Festival, local charity events, and entertaining you with the Superstitions Challenge.
Yes, it's going to be a very interesting show, and if you haven't already noticed, it is Friday the 13th. So if you are superstitious like myself, you should probably grab your lucky charm.
But first, kicking off today's show with Yasmin is this week's headlines.
Thank you, guys. The first thing in today's news is Syrian refugees flight is due to land in the UK next week. Permanent Secretary Mark Sidwell is on track to meet David Cameron's target of 1,000 refugees. By 2020, David Cameron's plan is to have 20,000 refugees. 2-minute silence was observed on Wednesday, allocated on the 11th month of the 11th hour of the 11th day, the time the guns fell silent along the Western Front in Europe. Thirdly, the stepbrother of Becky Watts was found guilty of murdering her due to a sexually motivated kidnap plot. Becky was suffocated in her home in Crown Hill in Bristol. In today's news, it was announced that her offender will get a minimum of 33 years. And lastly, Children in Need is back on BBC tonight for the 35th time. The show will air from 7:30 until 10 p.m. Selena Gomez and Ellie Goulding will be performing on the show. And in local news, survivors of the Blitz 75 years ago joined a number of schools in Coventry to remember the bombing in Coventry during the Second World War. The city experienced many bombings, but the most severe was on the 14th of November. A woman was fighting for her life in Warwick due to a serious car crash. A man and his son were also injured and were treated at the hospital. Mira Dajari, a media student at Coventry University, currently studying for her Masters, won an RTS award for the best film. The film is called Trans India. And lastly, in local news, a cat from Bedworth was saved by a vet after getting his head stuck in a tin can. Felix the cat got his head stuck after scavenging in the neighbour's recycling bin. And that's all from me, thank you.
Thanks for that, Yasmin. If you didn't already know, tonight is the live broadcast of Children in Need's Appeal show on BBC One.
We sent our reporters out in Coventry City Centre to get the latest on what's going on and what locals are doing for the cause.
With it being the 35th year of Children in Need, people are still finding creative ways to raise money and beat the previous year's grand total. We spoke to one of the organisers of yesterday's event.
And as you can see, we're here today fundraising for Children in Need.
People are still finding creative ways to raise money and beat the previous year's grand total.
Hello, I'm Sarah from Camden Branch.
And I'm Marie from the Bell Green Branch.
We're here today raising for Children in Need. It's an event that both Marie and I have organised this year, and it was Marie's cracking idea. When did you think of it, Marie?
So we thought we'd go down the route. It's superheroes. We wanted to put our own twist on it, to add some villains into the mix, really exert ourselves and have a lot of fun.
Already, before they started today, they'd raised £17,000.
You can find out more about how to take part and donate at www.bbc.co.uk/Children in Need.
So remember to tune in to BBC One tonight at 7:30 p.m.
It is a really important charity, and with your help, a big difference can be made.
Speaking of charity, our reporters attended a local football match to raise money for Macmillan Cancer. Here's what happened on the day.
I'm here at Highway Park, where there's a fundraising event for Macmillan Cancer Support.
The charity football game, which was held here on Remembrance Day, which saw players and fans alike hold a 1-minute silence for fallen soldiers, as well as raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support. I managed to speak to the referee, Joshua Mugridge, prior to the game.
So how do you think the turnout for the game?
Hopefully it'll be a good turnout, because it's a quid a man, so it's not a lot for everyone to pay. Make a bit of money for Macmillan. All the players paid a tenner each, so they should make over £300.
How do you think the game's going to go?
Hopefully it'll be light-hearted. I intend to not be involved too much, just run around like a headless chicken. Be a good laugh. A lot of the lads haven't played for a few years.
You think you're going to have to give out any cards?
No, not a chance. I won't be getting them out. Even if there's a blatant red card, they're not coming out.
The game then kicked off in fantastic style, with Macmillan supporting very high spirit. But immediately, they showed holes in their defence, which resulted in a 9-0 deficit in the first half. But despite this, Macmillan Cancer's support team soldiered on and managed to pull back a couple of goals. Although Macmillan were well and truly beaten, they kept their spirits high and even managed to see the funny side, even with their own Cristiano Ronaldo, minus the clothing, of course. And I even got to speak to the winning team's captain.
How did you guys find the game?
Difficult to start with, but I think their fitness won it in the end, so we just kept going, and I think the subs won it, so the boss did well, making substitutes at the right time, and that was what it was, really.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice event, really. The cause was the winner, really. It was a nice run out. Nice to meet a few lads. We've only seen their faces before, just around the place. Probably make it a regular thing for a good cause. Do it once every 6 months, 12 months, whatever it takes. But overall, yeah, it's nice for everyone, family, friends. It was good overall.
The event managed to raise £350 for the Cancer Support Fund, which shows that no one should face cancer alone. I'm Ben Masters, reporting for Lunchbox TV.
Well, I'm really glad to see it was a good cause and no one let their competitive nature get in the way of spreading awareness for Macmillan.
Yeah, according to the report, they made over £350 and it looked like everyone had a great time while they were doing it.
Yeah, that was really impressive. And if anyone else would like to donate, you can always go to the Macmillan website at www.macmillan.org.uk and all donations are taken gratefully.
So keeping to sport, Coventry City football team have appointed a new executive vice chairman. Our reporters went to the training ground to find out more.
The Sky Blues have been training hard this week after losing the FA Cup tie against Northampton 2-1 at the Rico. Coventry City will be looking for an immediate response when they take on Colchester. Ahead of the game on Saturday, Tony Mowbray received a boost as goalkeeper Reece Charles Cook committed his future to the club, signing a 2.5-year contract extension until June 2018.
Very pleasing. Yeah, it was very pleasing to get it away, you know. That was my goal because obviously I was in my last year here at the start of the season, and obviously I played a couple of games, rumours going around, but I was never going anywhere. You know, the gaffer sat me down and I was always wanting to sign, you know, I'm obviously going to sign it because it's a couple of games. I finally gave me an opportunity and I didn't want to go anywhere else, to be honest, and this is a great learning place because, you know, we do it the right way here. You know, people say, oh, we ain't got a budget or the funds and everything we do here has been brilliant, so I was going anywhere and I love it here. So.
Speaking at his press conference, Mowbray stated why he believed the young goalkeeper was worthy of the deal.
Not just because of his performances over the games he's played for the club now, but I think his general quality and talent on the training ground is very evident to us, to me, I think he's a modern day goalkeeper, he's agile, he's fast, his distribution is very quick.
And now it's time for the weather with Zara.
Thanks guys, this is the Lunchbox and I'm Zara Flynn with your weekend weather. The wind and the rain flurries continue throughout today and the weekend, with the West Midlands catching the fallout of Storm Abigail. So be careful on your journey home as gusts of 30 to 50 miles per hour are causing trouble across the whole of the UK. Right now it's 9 degrees with temperatures set to raise 15 degrees by Sunday. But don't forget to take your umbrella out this weekend. Now back to Kieran and Hashan.
Thank you, Zara. That's typical British weather there. I can't lie, when I stepped out of the house this morning, I was freezing, like it was very cold.
Yeah, it's cold in the mornings, but by the time it gets to midday, I've heated up and I end up taking my jacket off and having to carry it.
Exactly, or it starts raining throughout the day, you don't have your umbrella, stuff like that, so.
Coventry University held a debate last night, chaired by Michael Binion. The debate questions whether peace can really stick in the modern world. We've got Jessica Allen with us today to tell us more.
Thank you, guys. World peace is something that we all wish for, and that's but if there was world peace, many journalists such as myself would be out of a job. That's something that Mary Harper, Africa editor at BBC World Service, pointed out at last night's Big Question event. Posing the question, does peace really stick? Guests such as Colonel Dr. Brendan O'Shea and Terry Waite debated peace, particularly across Africa, in a 2-hour debate at Square One at Coventry University. The event comes within the Coventry Peace Festival on the eve of the 75th anniversary of Coventry Blitz, which destroyed the iconic cathedral and killed almost 600 people. The city has since become a city of peace and reconciliation, working to move on from death and destruction into peacetime. The question remains as to whether peace really does exist in our own country. While we have no direct war involvement, we do invest in trade and arms We do invest and trade in arms and the UK terror threat is currently possible but not likely, meaning that conflict could happen on our own land. Should we not focus towards being a truly peaceful nation before creating peace across the world? What do you guys think about that? I mean, surely we should create our own peace before we do move on.
I think you kind of need everyone to chip in to get real peace. You need everyone to be on the same page. And it must have been really interesting to see what the people at that talk actually thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that was definitely brought up by Colonel Dr. Brendan O'Shea at the event last night. It's not just the military that need to be involved, it's not just religion that needs to be involved, it's not just politics. Everybody has to club together. And we did actually speak to the chair of this event, Michael Binion, earlier today to discuss more of the event.
Now, the press situation in Rwanda is pretty grim. The situation in the country is quiet, it's stable, but it's quite tense. And for the Kagame is a very, very all-powerful guy who does not suffer criticism. It's fairly intolerant of anyone he thinks is likely to upset the power base. So some journalists have been killed, some have been threatened, and this friend of mine has simply decided to leave journalism for a bit and may go back, and he's working in some marketing or big business. And the advice I gave him before he went back, and I said, look, don't stick your head out too long. I said, there's an old proverb in England, an old proverb, he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day.
I heard it was a really engaging talk. Did you go to Shan?
No, I personally didn't, but it did look very interesting. It's very important to spread peace around the world. So
it looks like it was a good event for the university to
hold.
hold.
Definitely.
Our reporters also went out to see what else has been going on during this fortnight's Peace Festival.
As part of Coventry's Peace Festival, Coventry Cathedral is hosting the 2015 Rising Global Peace Forum. Rising 15, also led by Coventry City Council and Coventry University, aims to bring together global leaders, practitioners and advocates working for peace. Chris Boyce assisted the organisation of the event.
Today we've had former Prime Minister Gordon Brown in the Cathedral giving a keynote address. Yesterday we had Hilary Benn, who's the Shadow Foreign Secretary, and tomorrow we've got 3 keynote addresses in the afternoon on Friday, the 13th of November. And alongside the keynote addresses, which have all taken place inside Coventry Cathedral, we have also had workshops taking place at venues in the city centre.
Organisers hope to keep the Rising Global Peace Forum in Coventry for the foreseeable future, further establishing the city as a focal point for peace and reconciliation internationally. I'm Cameron Cooper for the Lunchbox.
Tashan, have you ever heard of bubble tea?
No, I haven't.
I hadn't before today, but apparently bubble tea has become pretty popular recently, and another store has opened here in Coventry. We sent our reporter to find out more about the new trend.
Tea is one of the most popular drinks all over the world. It is a huge part of British culture. But now there is a new twist to it, bubble tea. Today, we are in Fargo Village, a creative spot for Coventry, visiting Bubble Boba, a new bubble tea place on Coventry map. So I'm here now with Christy McCoy-Ward, the owner of Bubble Boba. Hello Christy, how are you?
Hi, I'm well, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So for those of us who don't know what's bubble tea, could you please explain briefly what's that?
Sure. Yeah, bubble tea originated from Southeast Asia many, many years ago. And now it's come all over the world, especially in California where I'm from, parts of England, Europe. And basically what it is tea base. So you have a milk tea base, or you have a very refreshing type of green tea base, hot or cold. And we have milk teas, we have milks, we have the teas with different flavors. Then we also do smoothies and slushies and just infinite possibilities. And then in terms of the toppings, this is called boba, which is a type of tapioca. And it's very much so like a gummy bear with a very caramely type consistency and flavor. And then these ones are the popping bubbles, which is the one that you had. And those ones basically you bite down on it and it bursts a bunch of different flavor, whether it's strawberry or kiwi or mango. And yeah, so there's all different types of fun possibilities. I'd say like infinite amount of possibilities in terms of flavor.
So why do you think it got so much interest? Like it's a simple drink with a twist. So how do you think why it happened?
Well, I know for me personally, coming to Coventry, there wasn't much for us to do like late hours, and there's mostly.
So we were lucky enough to get some bubble tea in the studio. I myself have a strawberry and green tea with kiwi bubbles.
And I have a melon with kiwi bubbles as well. It looks a bit unusual, strange colour.
Yeah, do you want to give it a try?
Yeah, let's go for it. Mine's really nice.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's really nice,
The bubble's like bursting in your mouth, so it's nice. It's a different experience, definitely.
Mine definitely tastes better than it looks.
Yeah. So for all of our viewers, Bubble Boba has a special deal. If you mention the Lunchbox when you go to their Fargo Village store on Far Gosford Street for a buy one get one free offer.
If you are interested, please make sure you grab one as quick as possible because the offer's only run until the end of November.
Yes. And next up we have Yasmin with a round of the latest news.
Thank you, guys. So, firstly in the news, Syrian refugees are due to land in the UK next week. 1,000 should be arriving. By 2020, the Prime Minister's plan is to have 20,000 refugees. A 2-minute silence was observed on Wednesday on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. This is due to the fact that the guns fell silent along the Western Front in Europe. Thirdly, the stepbrother of Becky Watts was found guilty of murdering her due to a sexually motivated kidnap plot. Becky was suffocated in her home in Crown Hill, Bristol. It was announced today that her offender will get a minimum of 33 years. Children in Need is back on our TVs tonight for the 35th time. The show will air from 7:30 p.m. until 10 p.m. Selena Gomez and Ellie Goulding will be performing on the show. And in local news, survivors of the Blitz 75 years ago joined a number of schools in Coventry to remember the bombings. The city experienced many bombings during the Second World War, but the most severe one was on the 14th of November. A woman was fighting for her life in Warwick after a serious car crash. A man and his son were also injured and treated at the hospital. Mira Dejari, a media production student from Coventry University, currently studying for her Masters, won an RTS award for Best Factual Film. The film is called Trans India. And lastly, a cat from Bedworth was saved from by a vet after getting his head stuck in a tin can. The cat got his head stuck after scavenging through the neighbours' recycling bins. That's all from me, thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin. So there has been a lot of interesting topics trending around the globe this past week, and we have Ellen Smith in the studio to let us know more.
Right, thanks guys. I'll be going over this week's top trending topics over the social networking sites. And the first trending topic is children in need, as BBC announced Dermot O'Leary will be replacing Sir Terry Wogan after he had to drop out due to illness. Following that is the Sainsbury's advert, Mog the Cat, hashtag Christmas is for sharing, as this video also is on the first page of the YouTube website. The third trending topic is Justin Bieber's new album Purpose, which was released today and is already at #1 of the iTunes. And following that is One Direction's new album Made in the AM, which was also released today. And the final trending topic we'll be discussing is Missy Elliott, who hasn't released music for a while, but today and this week she has, with Pharrell Williams, named WTF, Where They From.
Thanks for that, Ellen.
As mentioned earlier, it is Friday the 13th today, and our reporters have been out to find out more about the superstitions surrounding the date.
Friday the 13th is traditionally known as Black Friday and is considered one of the unluckiest days of the year.
Figures have shown that in Coventry, people have been ringing the police regularly to deal with spooky complaints and sightings. There have been many bizarre requests, from ghosts and witchcraft to spotted UFOs.
I'm outside a house in Coventry City Centre where students claim to witness ghostly activities. Let's take a look inside.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Yes, I have, many times.
How did you react?
Well, I actually loved it personally because, like, they're cool and they're just amazing.
Do you believe that this house is haunted?
Not like Paranormal Activity haunted, but more like Casper the Friendly Ghost haunted.
And what's your thoughts on Friday the 13th?
That people need to relax about it and stop acting like it's the end of the world.
Are you a superstitious person?
Very, yeah.
Coventry is full of spooky places, many of which will be bringing bad luck this Friday. With historical locations such as the establishment in the city centre, which has been awarded a Haunted Location Award by Spook Hunters. The current manager, Wayne Bryan, who claims to be very superstitious, said he often hears doors closing on their own. The Guildhall also has a reputation for being haunted, with regular sightings including a grey lady and a little girl.
So in the spirit of Friday the 13th, myself and Tashan are going to do a challenge.
Right, so it's a superstition challenge. We have 30 seconds on the clock, and whoever can list the most superstitions on a piece of paper wins. I'm very competitive, so this should be good.
And we've got Ellen here in the studio to help us referee it.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thanks again to use. Here's pens and papers.
Thank you.
Right, you guys have 30 seconds to list as many superstitions as you can. And we'll have no cheating, no looking at each other's papers, and I'm thinking no support from the audience today. So I will be giving you 30 seconds on the spot. So 3, 2, 1, go. I can see it.
Tell you what, I'm struggling to think here.
No peeking.
This is. Tell you what, this is harder than it looks. I can't think of any.
No peeking.
Right.
We agreed.
I wasn't cheating. Leave me alone.
Come on, guys.
I'm absolutely stuck. Can't think.
Stop. And that is
dear.
time.
That is not
That
good.
is 30 seconds.
I've
so
not done well there.
I will be the judge of.
I think we know who won. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure we do.
Mine's not the best.
Okay.
I'm not very superstitious.
So
I forget them.
it's very, very tight as you have different ones. So we'll let the audience decide. So for Kieran, go on. Okay, and then for Tashan.
Hey! Yes, guys.
I'm sorry, but I think it's clear who the winner is today, and that is Tashan.
Good game, man. Good game.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. You've been watching The Lunchbox. I'm Kieran Goldberg.
Yes, thank you. And don't forget to follow our Twitter and Instagram pages at The Lunchbox Cov to keep up with all the latest news in and around Coventry. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Oh, my God. Ooh, come on, man. Good. Done.
Good work.